for the hand jobs. Mornings with Mo.
Good morning, everyone. This is Mo from Mo in the Deep End, and this is the coolest thing ever. KZ Kiwi, no, not KZ, NZ, sorry. NZ Kiwi, it is so awesome that I can be an inside cat and barely even leave my house and still, can meet people in all sorts of other places. Thank you, Wolfram, for your Modly Mod duties. Good morning, Jeff Montgomery, and Tammy Bogard, and Tammy C.A., and Kelly. Good morning, everyone. We have got a bunch of news, and this will be a little bit longer. I do have a bunch of mom duties, plus making sure that we have pants that are not holey, for a funeral. So do have to make sure that the boys do have clothing that is appropriate and doesn't have any holes or patches or anything like that, which, is a thing. But on a really good note, and good morning, Audio Coffee. Oh, alrighty, I can boost that up. I was lowering it down just a little bit. I raised it up for Legal Shenanigans Theater, but forgot to turn it back down. But on the most awesome news, at least for the astronauts who have gone an entire pregnancy in space, yes, I do. When anything is 9 months, it is an entire pregnancy law. Long. U.S. astronauts Birch Wilmore and Suni Williams are finally headed back to Earth after 9 months being stranded in space. Commencing countdown, engines on. U.S. astronauts Birch Wilmore and Suni Williams have finally departed from the International Space Station early Tuesday to begin their long-awaited journey back home after spending more than 9 months stuck in space. Wilmore, 62, and Williams, 59, are aboard a SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule called Freedom, which is set to re-enter Earth Tuesday with a Florida splashdown set for about 5:57 p.m. So they should hopefully be home by now. Good morning, Colorado girl. Or Colorado Mountain girl, sorry. Now, the stranded pair, who were originally only supposed to be in space for 10 days last summer, are traveling home with fellow American Nick Hague and Russian cosmonaut Alexander Gorbanov as they finish their tour on the Crew 9 mission. Wilmore and Williams have been stuck on the International Space Station since last June when their Boeing Starliner capsule suffered leaks and mechanical issues, forcing NASA to return the craft without anyone on board. Now, the episode left Boeing's commercial spaceflight ambitions tumbling, with SpaceX serving as the only backup available to bring the astronauts home. The duo have since had to wait to hitch a ride on Hague and Gorbanov's return shuttle, which was scheduled to launch only after SpaceX Crew 10 arrived over the weekend to relieve them from their duties. Now, Elon Musk has claimed that plans to bring Whitmore and Williams home earlier were shelved by former President Joe Biden, and that the mission had been marred by political mudslinging. I mean, what else is new? But I am glad that they're coming back home. I don't think that people realize the lack of gravity and how weak and absolutely terrible their body is going to feel now that they're home. Now, Biden administration officials, however, have denied all allegations that they left the astronauts in space for political reasons. Now, because of the delays, Wilmore and Williams have spent about 285 days in space, placing sixth among NASA's single spaceflight record holders, just behind Peggy Whitson, who spent 289 days in space. Frank Rubio maintains the current record at 371 days after he experienced his own issues when Russia's Soyuz capsule sprang a leak, leaving him stranded at the ISS back in 2022. Yeah, that is going to be hard. They're going to feel just like Tom Hanks in Castaway. Well, I mean, I guess this is going to make my whole, selling an introvert, community a bit bad. But a team of scientists who has been trapped in an isolated Antarctic base for 10 months, well, one of them apparently went cray cray and attacked them all. But I do have to ask, who ate the last Pop Tart? Because, someone pissed this man off. They probably, like, tried to make him do daylight savings time. A researcher at an isolated base in Antarctica sent a worrying email accusing another team member of both physical and SA, as well as threatening to red rum someone, or so it's been reported. An overwintering team consisting of 10 members is almost entirely cut off from the outside world at South Africa's Antarctic base amid harsh winter conditions, per South Africa's The Time. Now, according to the UK Times, the group was stationed at SANAE 5, the South African Nation Antarctic Expedition Base located in Vescloret, Queen Maud Land. I done butchered those names. Now, last month, a team member sparked concern after sending an email about a person's quote unquote egregious and deeply disturbing behavior, accusing them of both physical and sexual assault, as well as threatening to unalive someone, the publication stated. His behavior has become increasingly egregious, and I am experiencing significant difficulty in feeling secure in his presence, the email read. It is imperative that immediate action is taken to ensure my safety and the safety of all employees. Regrettably, his behavior has escalated to the point that is deeply disturbing. Specifically, he physically assaulted, name withheld, which is a grave violation of personal safety and workplace norms. Yeah, assault is not good, even if you're in Antarctica. Furthermore, he threatened to out and out kill someone, name withheld, creating an environment of fear and intimidation. I remain deeply concerned about my own safety, constantly wondering if I might become the next victim. Ma'am, I'm gonna need you to montage the fuck up like Sigourney Weaver. I'm gonna need you to take all available things and look, ma'am, you already know who your aggressor is. I mean, I'm just saying, you could make it look like the coof. Like, he was coughing before I had to help him shuffle off this mortal coil. Ooh, waffles sounds really good. I don't know what that has to do with anything that I've said thus far, but waffles do sound good. Now, the person who sent the email and the alleged attacker have not been publicly named. The message reportedly stated that numerous concerns about that person had allegedly been raised before the SA Agus 2 ship brought them and departed on its return journey. The journey from Cape Town is approximately 2,485 miles and takes about 10 to 15 days, depending on the amount of ice the group hits on the way, per the South African Times. The Department of Forestry, Fisheries, and Environment, DFFE, which manages the South African National Arctic Program, confirmed that an investigation is underway regarding the email. Now, per AccuWeather, temperatures in the area are ranging this week from around 5 degrees Fahrenheit to negative 7.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, I don't know what that is in Celsius. Now, the department is responding to these concerns with the utmost urgency and have a number of interventions with all parties concerned at the base. The DFF communications chief, Peter Mngwela, said per the South Africa, Times, a full investigation is being commissioned and the department will act accordingly in relation to any wrongdoing or that kind of conduct against any official that. So there you go. Look, I don't know if this is going to help us go to Mars if we can't even keep 10 people, in a winter place without one going cray cray, I don't know that anyone's going to get to Mars alive. I hope that they can sedate people and put them in that, stasis, because if we can't even get 10 months without people going nuts, I'll, good luck, Martians. In a weird sort of story, I have no idea. Tracy Morgan, I know, has battled with several health issues. Wasn't he in a pretty significant car wreck years ago? So, Tracy Morgan was taken out of Madison Square Garden in a wheelchair after, upchucking courtside in a worrying scene. Now, to be fair, did he try one of their hot dogs that has been there since 1971? Knicks celebrity superfan Tracy Morgan upchucked at his courtside seat during Monday's game, delaying the battle between the Heat and the Knicks at the Garden. While the details are limited on what happened, Morgan became ill while the game was going on and forced a brief delay while he was taken off in a wheelchair, and arena staff cleaned up the area during the third quarter. Now, a photo posted on social media showed Morgan hunched over and upchucking, as you do, at his courtside seat, which was positioned next to Madison Square Garden's network broadcasters Kenny Albert and Walter Clyde Frazier. The photo, which was shared by a fan, also showed a man in a black t-shirt and black and blue Knicks hat looking concerned for Morgan. A separate video that circulated on social media also showed him being taken away in a wheelchair while holding a towel over his face as paramedics and arena staff attended to him. Oh, I feel bad. Look, if you're feeling pukey, like for it to make, front page news, it's gotta be a bad day. Now, the post on X claimed that Morgan had been bleeding from his nose and that the comedian could barely stand up. The incident did occur during the third quarter, and a video from the ESPN broadcast showed a Knicks towel boy talking to a referee while trying to clean up the ick. Oh, I'm not going to show you this picture. They caught him mid-ick. We do hope that Tracy feels better soon and are looking forward to seeing him back courtside, a Madison Square Garden spokesperson said in a statement. Now, Knicks star Josh Hart, who also wished Morgan well after the Knicks secured a 116-95 win over Miami. We hope everything is good with Tracy Morgan, avid lifetime Knicks fan, so our prayers go out to him and his family for his health and safety. Now, a request for comment from Morgan was not immediately answered. Hopefully he is feeling better. I can't imagine getting, blowing chunks on the Jumbotron. Like, because they caught it and it was there and you are just feeling all sorts of pukey and gross and it's up on the Jumbotron. So, I'm sorry. Ugh. Yeah, oh no. I hope not. Look, I have sympathetic, pukiness, so I try not to be around that. Although as a mom, I'm sort of like the one kids go to for comfort. Ugh. Well, in sentences I never thought I'd have to say in real human life as my semi-professional job, but a Texas bill aims to ban barking, meowing, and other quote-unquote non-human behavior in schools to tackle furries. Texas is mobilizing against the furries, y'all. Like, what is this timeline? What? This is a wonderful timeline. Texas wants to say farewell to the furries. A bill introduced at Texas House of Representatives, backed by Governor Greg Abbott, would ban non-human behavior in schools, such as barking and other practices common amongst furries. First, they came for the foot fetishist, and I said nothing because feet are gross. And then they came for the weirdos who do whatever they do on those pride parades, and I said nothing because I particularly don't like wearing leather. And then they came for the furries, and I was laughing my balls off. No, I'm just kidding. I do know that there are several accounts of actual real life furries, even in, or at least kids that are acting like furries in my own children's schools. So this has reached like backcountry Hickville, Indiana. So Texas, God bless you. We're about done with this. The Forbidden Unlawful Representation of Role Playing in Education bill, also known as the Furries Act. Jesus. We have a Furries Act. This is how we get final form Jesus, y'all. This is how it happened. Would prohibit students from barking, hissing, meowing, wearing leashes, or fur or tails at public schools in the state. I thought this was America. Don't make me go on a Randy Marsh, I thought this was America. I'm gonna have whatever the hell I want, Texas. I know, Deuteronomy completely forgot the furries. How did that happen? The proposal also specifies that students cannot use litter boxes or licking as a mean of self-care on school grounds. Now, schools across the country have repeatedly debunked claims of litter box installations for students to use since it was first flagged during a bizarre meeting at a Michigan school district in 2022. I just love how they went to FurryCon. Only school mascots and dress-up performances, including Halloween and certain themed spirit weekdays, are exempted from the ban. While the bill works as a blanket ban applied to all students, Republican State Representative Stan Gerds, the patron of the bill, specifically called out furries and says he wants to keep them out of school. Ain't no furries allowed here, Jim Bob. No, Snuffleupagus, our kind ain't welcome here. Big Bird, where can we go that loves us? Well, apparently not Texas. Look, hey Joe, I have no problem. I think they are very well crafted. I mean, these materials, and I will say, as someone who is just barely dipping my toe into garment making, these materials are not easy to sew or work with. So I do appreciate the craftsmanship that people put into their fursonas, furdenities, furnace, fursons, their fursons? Anywho, I don't know. I will say that I greatly appreciate the craftsmanship, but I'm gonna need a whole lot of Febreze. Now, while the ban does not extend to private school, Abbott referenced it during a meeting with pastors in Austin as a motivating factor to allow private school choice vouchers. If you have a child in public school, you have one expectation. Your child is going to be learning the fundamentals of education: reading, writing, math, and science, Abbott said, as reported by the Houston Chronicle. If they're getting distracted by furries, those parents have a right to move their child to a school of their choice, the governor continued. Abbott has been fighting for school choice vouchers for years. The program, if ever implemented, would grant parents the eligibility to divert their tax dollars toward the school of their choice rather than the ones in their prospective areas, including both private and religious institutions that would typically not receive public funds. Now, I will say that Indiana does this. This is one of the main reasons that both youngest, most feral boys are able to go to a private school. In Indiana, we are able to move the tax money with the child, so that is why we were able to do that. And I think it's a very good, program. Now, Abbott admitted that introducing the vouchers would result in less funding for public schools. If they're not fit for purpose, then why are we funding public schools? Now, Gerdes anticipates that a full furry vengeance will descend onto the state capital during the hearings for the bill, which have not been set. Oh my God, you guys, do I travel to Texas when they read the furry bill? Yes or no? I must approve this through Mr. Moe unless I grift it completely. But I am willing to be in the heart of Texas when we have the furry bill. I just need to, talk to Mr. Mo and let him know that I have decided in my own harebrained, ness to commit myself to going to Texas for the furry revolution. Can you imagine the people I will see? Now, this absolute freaking ridiculous heifer, like this ridiculous heifer, influencer who stole a baby wombat criticizes Australian government amid ongoing backlash. No, you make every one of us look like a stupid effing American. I mean, you make every single flapjack one of us look ridiculous. You shut your mouth and don't touch wombats ever again. Damn. The American ridiculous person who calls herself an influencer and just made us look stupid on the world stage, who faced backlash after taking a baby wombat from its mother in Australia, sent a message to news viewers after failing to appear for a scheduled on air interview. Sam Jones, idiot, who has over 96,000 followers on Instagram, was reportedly scheduled to appear on Australia's Channel 10 talk series, The Project, on Sunday, March 16th, but she cancelled at the last minute. The show's host, Hamish McDonald, explained that she had backed out of their interview while discussing Jones's recent Instagram statement apologizing for the controversy. In Jones's original since deleted video, she was seen picking up a baby wombat on the side of a dark road at night, running away with it as it dangles from her arms. Local news outlet 10 News First captured the footage of her wildlife interference that sparked international outrage. Again, just leave the baby, and you could see the little baby like, Ma, this idiot American has me, Ma. Like, just don't be a dumbass. Like, I am secondhand shame-embarrassed for your mother. Like, I can't imagine, like, what did your child do? My child graduated Harvard. What did your child do? Well, he's coding something for internet magic. And what did your child do, Anne? She stole a wombat and got all of Australia pissed off at us. Isn't that special? Now, instead of this scheduled call, McDonald said the influencer, who had previously referred to herself as, quote, a wildlife biologist and environmental scientist on Instagram, sent in a video statement. In the video, Jones began by, quote, taking responsibility for her actions. Oh my God, she's using the Theodore Edgecombe defense. I accept responsibility for that happening with the extremities for which I picked up the wombat. Okay. She once again admits that she made an incredible mistake, which she has regretted since. Quote, however, there is something much bigger at play here, and this is where she loses the crowd. And it would be a disservice to ignore. If this situation has proven anything, it has proven that Australians deeply care about their wildlife, and that is something I intensely admire. Ma'am, you're an idiot. Now, she continued to allege that every year the Australian government permits the killing of thousands and thousands of wombats across Australia, along with millions of kangaroos. Ma'am, you are not the Rosa Parks of wombats. Sit the hell down in the back of the damn bus, okay? I was trying to raise awareness for the wombats. No, the hell you weren't. You were just like that demented, what is it, Denmark, artist who wanted to, starve a bunch of piglets to show the meanness of the pork industry. Like, shut up. If this was the best idea you could come up with for being an absolute rejected muppet, you're a dumbass. Now, she then directed the viewers to her X account at Australia Coles, which is currently restricted on social media. Now, Jones said that she shared never-before-seen photos of the country's mass culling operations. The same government that is calling for my head is one that spends millions of your tax dollars to slaughter native Australian animals, as well as the Snowy River and Cusco brumbies, wild pigs, and numerous deer species. Come here, sweetheart. Come here. Wildlife biologist. You come right over here. Now, where is Mama Mo's board of truth? All right, I'm gonna explain something to you. Now, I didn't realize that I'd have to explainerate it to a wildlife biologist as yourself. Now, I don't come from Australia. I do come from Indiana. We have millions and millions of deer, and deer like to screw all the time. So you end up with this many deer, but the land can only really support this many deer. So, unless you want to have a bunch of starving deer who are running into, the roads and just look emaciated and sick, you let hunters who will then, eat and use all of these to take care of the excess deer. That is just what it's called. It is called culling the herd, and generally they take, the older, or not the sick ones. I mean, you don't want to eat sick deer. I just don't think. But, ma'am, I know you're a wildlife biologist, but you do have culling. Especially wild pigs are incredibly dangerous. If you don't believe me, go look at some of the wild hog videos. They're dangerous. They're, especially to, livestock and other things. I know, Zach, you're a pacifist. Now, Jones previously called out the government in her Instagram statement shared on Friday, March 14th, after apologizing and attempting to explain her actions seen in the videos. She similarly alleged that Australian authorities were, quote, permitting the slaughter of wombats. She singled out Australia's Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, for his response over her, while the Prime Minister wishes to harm me for picking up a wombat, I implore you to take a good, hard look at what's currently being done in Australia. Surrounding the real issue is faces and the lack of power for tens and thousands of Aussies and its treatment of native wildlife. Like, I know I did something wrong, but man, I swear, send her to the Antarctic. Now, to justify her own encounter with the wombat, her first part of her statement claimed that she was picking up the wombat so the animal didn't get hurt on the side of the road. When we found the mother and Joey on the road not moving, I was extremely concerned, as wombats are so often hit on Australian roads, so I stopped to ensure that they got off the road safely and didn't get hit. None of which requires you to run toward the car acting like you are trying to steal baby wombat man. And then I walked up to them, and the joey didn't move or run off, and I was concerned that it might be sick or injured, and I made the snap judgment to pick up the joey and see if that was like the case. I ran not to rip the joey away from the mother, but for fear she might attack me. Oh my God, if she and that, oh gosh, what is it, beatboxing girl? She and that terrible dancer need to team up to save the wombats. I would willingly watch that woman, break dance to save the wombats. What? This woman is a moron. In a happier story, from Texas, no furries detected. Texas college student gets engaged to high school sweetheart who saved her life 5 years earlier. Look, we need some happiness, so let's get to these cute little couple. A Texas college senior got engaged to her longtime boyfriend nearly 5 years after he saved her life in a freak pool accident, a tragedy that bonded the brand new couple at the time. Alex Mann and Brooklyn Boyer, then high school students and former friends, were dating for just a week, leading up to Boyer's life-changing accident in June 2020. The pair were swimming with pals when Boyer, then 17, hit her head at the bottom of the pool and suffered a spinal cord injury that left her paralyzed, the couple told KCBD. Now, at 16-year-old man who had lifeguard training quickly jumped into action and did exactly the right thing until the paramedics reached the scene. A lot of people say that it's like a coincidence or something, but I think it's just a God thing, he told the station. That day was really hard, but looking back at all the good things and blessings that came from it, I'm just really amazed to look back and be like God was with us this entire time. Now, Boyer, who uses a motorized wheelchair and attends Lubbock Christian University, battled through months of rehabilitation and wondered if her relationship with man would survive. I had told him that I understood if he didn't want to continue dating or anything like that, just because I didn't know, and I wasn't naive enough that not everyone can do that or wants to do that, but he never left my side, she told the local station. And she is rocking that green dress. So, hey, go for it. Now, at first, Boyer couldn't even raise her arms, but now she is able to get behind the wheel of a car. She still has a goal that maybe one day she'll walk again. Mann said even through her severe injury and rehabilitation, his now fiancée has been nothing less than amazing. He recently popped the question at a belated Valentine's Day dinner in February, and the two haven't stopped beaming since. I'm still kind of gaslighting myself like this isn't happening and I'm not engaged yet, she told KCBD of the lead up to their engagement. And then he walks over to where he wanted and got down on one knee and asked me to be his wife, and I said yes. So what a good thing. This makes my mommy heart go, yay. Because I'm like, oh, true love. Those shoes are just awful, though. Those are the ugliest shoes I have ever seen in my entire life. They're just horrid. Look, ma'am, I love everything about that outfit except those shoes. That being said, the hate I have for those shoes is really, really irrational. Well, was it a fully automatic or semi automatic python? That is the question we must start asking ourselves. The snake is a weapon. Python wielding robbers at large after stealing $400 worth of ganja oil. I mean, as you do. Now, I mean, those don't even look like big pythons. And pythons are constrictors, so unless they get around your neck, I'd have taken my chance, and said, try me, throw the python, and then I'm going to have me, a force multiplier. Because I'm pretty sure it goes rock, paper, scissors, python, Glock. A gas station employee in Tennessee had a serpentine tail to tell the police and the video footage to back it up. The Madison County Sheriff's Office, along with 731 Crime Stoppers, posted on Facebook about a March 4th incident at a Citgo gas station in Denmark, Tennessee. Baker, where were you? During which 4 robbers allegedly used 2 ball pythons to threaten employees. The suspects, 2 women and 2 men, were not identified, allegedly made off with about $400 worth of CBD oil. I don't know. That is a selling point. That is a selling point. WREG, a local CBS affiliate, spoke to one of the employees, Mayor Ravel, about the incident. Now, Ravel told the outlet that he and his brother were both working that night. He described what can also be seen in the 21-second video, saying, "They're just waving the snakes around, putting them on the counter. One person brought in one snake first, then after that he brought in another snake. One was white and the other was brown or a mix." Now, Ravel told WREG that the 4 suspects may have wanted to take more than just CBD oil, which was displayed on the counter, but there were many customers around who could have witnessed the act. He said, "I think they planned to successfully come in here and rob the store. The snake is a weapon, you know." Now, the 4 suspects left the store in a black sedan, the trunk of which was reportedly secured closed with bungee cords. The car also had drive-out tags and damage to the rear of the vehicle. So they might have fully automatic snakes. God, what is going on? Yes, fully automatic snakes, as you do. In Lord Chippy attendance, and if you have your volume on loud, I will be playing Lord Chippy, so protect your earbuds. All right, you guys, we have another one of these gross teachers. Lord Chippy is ready to go. A married Illinois special education teacher, just doubly, triply gross, is charged with being super-de-duper gross with a 15-year-old student. Again, either Lord Chippy or Center of the Sun. Just center of the damn sun. A married and uh, thank you, Dwayne Rapp, for my Texas money. Definitely need to start saving up. Between Texas and Dollywood, I'm not going to be home this year. I am negotiating passage to Dollywood, considering my husband would be left at home with the wild feral children. I do have to, negotiate these things. Thank you so much, Dwayne. A married oh my gosh, I'm so irritated I said Illinois, and I haven't said that since I nearly, I just moved to Indiana and was told that was wrong. A married Illinois special education teacher has been arrested for allegedly being a predator with a 15-year-old student during a tutoring session, according to prosecutors. Christina Formelia, 30, was busted in the Chicago suburb of Downers Grove Sunday, days after the student told the police that she had inappropriately touched him in a Downers Grove South High School classroom in December 2023. Now, Formelia, who married her college sweetheart in August 2024, has also coached soccer at the school. Now, DuPage County prosecutors said that Formelia coached the boy and was his tutor, and the alleged assault happened the day before school started. She was 28 years old at the time of the alleged incident. The allegations against Miss Formelia are extremely disturbing, DuPage County Attorney Robert Berlin said in a statement. It is alleged that she used her position of trust and authority as a tutor and coach to SA a minor student. The type of abuse and behavior alleged in this case will not be tolerated. And this is the man she married, who is probably now questioning if she signed a prenup. Now, the boy's mother uncovered the alleged assault on Friday after she bought him a new phone and was linking it to his iCloud account, according to DuPage County detention petition obtained by the Daily Herald. She came across some text messages between her son and Formelia that discussed sexual contact and even a relationship. Now, after confronting her son, they both went to Downers Grove Police Department that same day to report their allegations. Police caught up with Formelia during a traffic stop in the village on Sunday and arrested her. What is wrong with you that you want to go to a 15-year-old who has no life experience? What are you getting out of this relationship? I wish I could talk to some of these teachers because I don't get it. I get the motivation behind a man, young woman, pretty thing. I get that. It's gross. It's disgusting. But what are these young women getting out of these absolutely imbalanced relationship with a young boy? I don't, other than they're sick, gross, disgusting people who just need to go to the center of the sun. Now, she has denied allegations, the petition states, but prosecutors claim that investigators have uncovered more evidence indicating that there was sexual contact between the two. The boy reportedly ended their relationship. Now, photos from Formelia's wedding over the summer that were shared on social media show her smiling with her strapping new husband who played baseball for their alma mater, Concordia University, Chicago. Formelia is charged with 2 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse and 1 count of criminal sexual assault. After her booking, Formelia was released on the condition that she have no contact with anyone under the age of 18 and that she not enter Downers Grove's South High School. She has been placed on administrative paid leave from the school. Now, Formelia taught there since 2020 after receiving her teacher's license in 2017 and volunteered as a soccer coach for both the boys and girls teams beginning in 2021. We are devastated and our community is reeling, said school principal Arwen Lip in a message to parents Mondays. An adult has been charged with the most serious violations of both trust and, professionalship, and our team is here to support students who are impacted by this terrible news. I mean, ew. Just ew. And this poor man right here has no idea that you are over here trying to be a gross, disgusting human being with a child. Just embarrassed for you. Just embarrassed for you. Well, you guys, it looks like this story will not end with punishment. The theft charges for the stolen Wizard of Oz ruby slippers have been dismissed after the defendant passed away. Now, I have been covering this story for several years, I think, since it was first found out what actually happened to these shoes. And now that this man was like 812, I did not assume he was going to go to prison. And it turns out that, yes, he has passed away, so he will not be going to the clink. Federal charges against a Minnesota man accused of hiding a stolen pair of ruby slippers worn by Judy Garland in the 1939 movie The Wizard of Oz were dropped Monday after the man passed away. Jerry Hall Slaughterman, 77, had been scheduled to change his plea to guilty in January before the hearing was postponed indefinitely after he was hospitalized with lung disease. Salterman passed away Sunday, according to a one-page request for dismissal. The motion for dismissal did not state how Salterman had passed away. Salterman was indicted on March 2024, nearly 2 decades after the slippers were stolen. He was charged with the theft of major artwork and witness tampering. Now, Salterman was accused of hiding the slippers for Terry Jo Martin, 77, who pled guilty in October 2023 to stealing the ruby slippers. Martin was sentenced to time served due to ill health that left him dependent on oxygen and wheelchair-bound. Now, Martin confessed to using a sledgehammer to break into the Judy Garland Museum in Grand Rapids, 2005. Martin said that he smashed the display case to steal the slippers, which are one of only 4 surviving pairs made for the film. 4 months after Salterman was indicted, the Crystal Police Department announced that it had recovered the iconic ruby slippers, saying that they had been buried in the backyard of a residence in Crystal where Salterman had lived for years. In December, the recovered slippers sold for $32.5 million at an auction to an undisclosed buyer. $32.5 million for a pair of really old shoes? If you would like to donate to my for-profit charity, Mo's House, where I basically just buy all the random things I see on Amazon. But it is interesting. I know that this was a big mystery for years and years, and to find out that they were just buried in his backyard, it is so insanely interesting that people had been wondering how this happened and who was the criminal genius, and it was just 2 old guys with a sledgehammer and they buried them in the backyard. Sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. Well, kidnapping doesn't work if your kidnappee runs away. Then you just get caught. A bound and gagged man spotted running down the middle of the road during rush hour escaped after being kidnapped and beaten for nearly 20 hours. I haven't watched the movie in a long time. I will have to look at that. Certain residents in a Maryland suburb were shocked last week when they saw a man whose hands were tied behind his back running down the middle of a road in the middle of morning rush hour. Now, authorities are saying that the man was kidnapped and held against his will for more than 20 hours, where he was repeatedly, not treated kindly by the hands of these 3 genetic rejects that we see on screen. Mugshots are never your best friend. Now, Chris Lamar Cochran, 48, Grace Elizabeth Amanda Johnson, 38. That is a rough 38, ma'am. That was rode hard, put away wet, and over your Kelly Blue Book 100,000 miles, ma'am. And Leland Charles Lewis, 48, all of Darlington, Maryland, were taken into custody and charged with a spate of crimes in connection to the alleged violent abduction. Now, Cochran is facing 1 count each of kidnapping, first-degree assault, second-degree assault, and false imprisonment. Johnson is charged with first-degree assault, second-degree assault, and false imprisonment, and Lewis is charged with first and second-degree assault, false imprisonment, and reckless endangerment. Now, according to a news release from the Maryland State Police, troopers with the organization's Bel Air Barrack responded to a call regarding suspicious activity at about 8:20 a.m. on Monday, March 10th in the area of Conwego Road, about 45 miles northeast of Baltimore. State police said they had received at least one report about a, quote, male with his hands bound behind his back who was running down the middle of the road. Now, upon arrival at the scene, first responders made contact with the victim, who stated that he had been assaulted and subsequently held captive. The victim advised that he had been left unattended that morning and was able to escape, the release states. The victim was flown to our Adams Cowley Shock Trauma Center by Maryland State Police Aviation Command. Following an initial investigation, investigators said they were able to identify the suspects in the abduction as Cochran, Johnson, and Lewis. Now, charging documents obtained by Baltimore ABC affiliate WMAR provided additional details about the alleged crime. According to the report, the victim, whose name has not been released, told authorities that on Sunday morning, March 10th, he was on his way to meet up with his girlfriend's brother to help him fix his car. But at some point, he said that 3 individuals grabbed him, beat him up, and left him bound and gagged in a garage for nearly a full day before he was able to escape. There is more to this story. Like, people don't just abductate you for no reason. I think there could be just a scotch more to this story. That being said, given these 3 genetic dead ends, they might have kidnapped the wrong damn person. Now, the station reported that the victim was still bound and gagged when he was spotted running in the road. He reportedly suffered a series of injuries, including a possible broken eye socket that required specialized care. While Cochran is facing the most serious charges, Johnson and Lewis are both accused of seeing the victim being held against his will and not taking any steps to assist him. Now, police have not speculated about a possible motive. I'm going to guess meth. Like, given the mugshots of everyone in front of me, I'm guessing crystal. Now, I would like you all to have so much grace for me because I picked this story even knowing that I was going to butcher every single name in it. But you don't see this every day. Zulu king shocks polygamous society with decision to divorce his first wife. I mean, she probably asked him to fold a fitted sheet. Because that looks like the face my husband makes when I'm like, can you fold that nicely to go in the linen closet? And then he just rolls it all up. But like, woman, these are impossible to fold. And it makes me want to watch Coming to America. South Africa's Zulu king has scandalized his more conservative subjects and set off a months-long royal soap opera after taking the unprecedented step to openly divorce his first wife. King Mzulu Zakwalithni earlier this year overturned generations of Zulu royal tradition and family discretion to publicly file for a split from the mother of his children. Now, while Zulu kings have traditionally practiced polygamy with no limit to the number of wives that they might have, divorce typically did not take place, and if it did, it was out of the public eye, making the king's recent announcement a bombshell. In the months following his decision, the king's difficulties juggling different wives and fiancés have been thrust into the spotlight of social media, both fascinating and dismaying his subjects. Queen Nicosoto Akamalicia has not taken her dismissal lightly, going to court to stop her husband holding another wedding in late January. She's like, Heifer, if you don't want me, you can't get married again. Now, royal watchers have since eagerly tried to decode the significance of royal appearances and utterances, looking for clues as to which of the king's partners he might favor. Cultural experts say that furor has highlighted the evolving position of indigenous marriage laws and the growing tensions between customary and civil unions as times change. While the king has no legislative power, he acts as the custodian of traditions and customs for the more than 12 million Zulus, with many of them looking up to him as a moral authority. Now, the royal household also receives a hefty annual subsidy of more than £3 million from the provincial government for upkeep and cultural activities. Now, Anthony Diala, a scholar of African customary law, said that the 50-year-old king, having grown up in neighboring Eswatini, or formerly Swaziland, studied in America and was seen as a monarch for a new generation. He said, as a significant cultural authority, it is understandable why his family are in the headlines about a divorce. Now, according to Professor Gugu Mazabuko, a cultural expert at the University of Johannesburg, the announcement left the community stunned. She said, when the news came, it was a shock. There was an outcry because, according to Zulu practices in the olden times, you were not supposed to divorce your wife. If the wife misbehaved or did something unacceptable, you were supposed to build a hut at the edge of the homestead. The reason was not to isolate them, but to ensure that she was always taken care of. Look, I'm just reading. I didn't give them the names. Now, divorces have become increasingly common among even ordinary Zulus, but the king's role as their cultural leader left many to question the move. Now, the king met Queen Nikotso in 2009 at his sister Princess. Oh, you have got to be flippin' flapjack kidding me. What the hell am I supposed to do with this, y'all? This is gonna. Bakhozi Bemviolos, don't make me say that twice, wedding. Now, the two have been together ever since then and do have two children, but only officially married in 2021 as he prepared to ascend the throne. They chose a modern marriage over a traditional wedding, and she sat beside him at his state coronation in October 2021. However, papers filed for the king at the start of the year cited irrevocable breakdowns in the marriage, claiming that the pair had not lived together as man and wife for more than a year. Thank you, Slinky. Well done on the names. Now, I am probably like, if someone native to the country was listening, I am making their eardrums bleed. But I have not caused a hate crime, which is what we were going for. Because I don't want to be disrespectful. No, I think this could be. Oh, yeah, this is the new wife. New wife. First wife. I think I've detected a reason that this could have happened. First wife. New wife. Yeah, I can. I think I figured out what's going on here. Now, the divorce papers were quickly followed by palace invitations for the king's traditional wedding to his new bride, Namzambo Miyeni. You know, if they had taken off these shoulder ruffles, I think I would have liked it a lot better. But these shoulder. Look, I have always felt like I have really big shoulders for a girl, so I've never wanted to accentuate them. So the idea of shoulder ruffles, just no. Also, I am against shoulder pads, so That being said, it is a lovely color on her, and I'm sure once she realizes that her husband is no prize and leaves his laundry on the floor, she's gonna look just like first wifey wife. Now, Queen Naksoto went to court to stop the wedding, which was postponed as a result. She argued that the king would be committing bigamy as they were still married under civil law. While the judge threw out her case, the marriage to Miss Mayin remains on hold as the king reportedly sent her family a cow as a gesture of appeasement. To be fair, you know, if you hand me some French fries, I consider it a gesture of appeasement. Also, in 2022, the king married Nazawiwi Kalmuya, a prominent baker in Eswanti, though they are seldom ever seen together, fully fueling speculation about whether the marriage was completed and whether they're still in a relationship. As you do. Now, the king's marriages are not the only difficulties he has faced during his short reign. Another faction of the family has challenged his right to rule the throne in a bruising succession battle, and he has clashed with the government over his stewardship of the financially lucrative land trust. In this latest twist to his tangled marital life, the king formally acknowledged Queen Nagozoto last week as she attended a traditional festival. His actions were seen by many as potentially showing that she was back in his favor. Professor Mazabuko said she attended and he introduced her as his wife. Social media was abuzz. We expect that the journey of the king's reign would not be smooth in the beginning, but maybe now it will be much better. The kings will always have enemies anyway. Well, yeah, I don't want to be a linebacker with ruffles. Though it seems to be the general fashion trend to be very ruffly. So maybe it's just something I don't know. I didn't grow up with ruffles. And to show that God is listening to me and just not paying attention when I have kindly asked him for Rod Stewart to please leave me alone, the world and humanity and the universe decide to bring me, the fact that Rod Stewart's legacy will never end. But congratulations, Miss, Kimberly Rod Stewart's daughter, on your baby coming soon. That being said, if he starts singing Forever Young, I will send him to Arizona. So be warned. Now, what in the name of all that is unholy and holy and goodness and hoodness is this crap? An eatery is forced to compensate 4,000, yes, I do mean 4,000 guests after drunk teens urinate into broth. Why and why? Just no and no. Lord Chippy, a video of drunk teenagers urinating into broth at a restaurant in China went viral, forcing the eatery to compensate nearly 4,000 guests. The two 17-year-old males, because of course they were, at the Shanghai branch of Halido, the country's biggest hot pot chain, carried out the unsanitary act on February 24th. And they are no longer living, okay? These dudes effed around and found out. Because this is China. China don't play with that kind of stuff. Now, they did admit that their employees were working that night and failed to stop the teens, claiming they weren't alerted to the nasty situation until at least 4 days later, according to CNN. It then took the company, which owns more than 1,000 restaurants worldwide, until March 6th to confirm the location where the gross scene occurred. But it remains unclear whether the hot pot that the teens used was properly disinfected before being given to the next customer. Now, since then, the hot pot chain has assured the public that it replaced all of its hot pot equipment and dining utensils and disinfected all other crockery and utensils. While we fully understand the distress caused to our customers by this incident cannot fully be compensated by any means, the company said in a statement, we are willing to do our utmost to take responsibility. Now, the restaurant reported the case to the police in Jiangjiang, Sichuan, where the franchise is headquartered, and the police said the teens responsible were detained after the incident. Those who ate at the restaurant between February 24th and March 8th will be given a full refund as well as monetary compensation 10 times the amount that they were billed. So there you go. Good luck. Don't drink all that. In something good that Germany has done for us lately, a parade of 897 wiener dogs breaks the Guinness World Record in Germany. Oh my gosh. It's just a herd of wieners. It's a flock of wieners. I am going straight to hell. I know you guys can't hear this, but German being spoken in well, in flamboyant is just hilarious. Oh my gosh, it's a gay dachshund and a paper mache dachshund. Oh my gosh, it is a flock of gay dachshund. It is a flock of gay wieners. I don't know why this is so hilarious to me. I shouldn't be laughing. But the fact that they're all pride wieners. I'm gonna see myself out right now. Oh, they're so cute. I want them all to play like poker with each other. Oh my gosh, they have a wiener dog store. Oh no, not a wiener dog parade. Oh no, you guys, I want to get one of the wire-haired little wiener dogs. Those look pretty cute. A German city broke a Guinness World Record when it hosted a parade. Germans on parade. You know, this finally equals a good thing, not a bad thing. They should have, titled it Germans on Parade, finally for something wholesome. I'm just kidding. Look, I am like 93% German, so I have a German pass where I can make fun of us. That being said, would you call this a pushed by any chance? Just asking for a friend. Look, I'm keeping an eye on you. Germany, the last 2 times you have been allowed to be in charge of something, things have gone wrong. You are only allowed to amass wiener dogs. So this, city hosted a parade that featured some 900 dachshunds. Now, Regensburg, home of the dachshund-themed Dackel Museum, hosted the world's largest dachshund walk when Dackel Parade featured at least 897 wiener dogs walking with their owners. Now, some counts indicate that the number may have been as high as 1,175, but Guinness World Record, officials could only confirm 897. Seppi Kulbeck, who founded the Dackel Museum with his husband. Again, you guys watch the video. German in flamboyant is weird. That being said, he seems like a lovely fella. Him and his husband seem, great. But it is a little weird, not gonna lie. Of course, that being said, I don't know why I brought that up, except that he and his husband have a lovely wiener dog museum. This you can't make this up. You can't. The dachshund isn't political, he told Süddeutsche Zeitung newspaper. For the dachshund, all people are equal, regardless of skin color or where they come from, mostly because they only see their feet. They are, vexing foot fetishist. I'm guessing as dachshunds, because they can only see your feet. Also, it feels kind of mean to breed a dog that has short little legs and a long body. I mean, that just seems mean. Again, that being said, I don't know what that has to do with anything other than it is mean to have short little legs and a long body. Now, y'all, a live alligator was left behind in a Michigan hotel room. Michigan becoming the Florida of the Midwest changed my mind. Now, police near the northern tip of Michigan's Lower Peninsula were called to a hotel motel, Holiday Inn, anywho, uh, to help secure an unusual piece of left behind property and a live alligator, as you do. Just a live alligators. Now, the Sheboygan Police Department said officers were called to Pine River's motel room when housekeeping staff found a live alligator had been left in the recently, vacated hotel room. We just went in to clean the room, and when my nephew looked under the bed, Wally was there, the hotel's manager, Gary, told the Detroit Free Press. He's a really friendly gator, so I didn't feel scared. He let the police officers hold him and all that, so I mean, he's a really friendly gator. No, that is a living dinosaur who has no idea what to do in life other than to bite you. No. Now, police determined that the 3-foot long alligator named Wally belonged to a man who owns multiple exotic animals and takes them to elementary schools for demonstrations. The owner was contacted and told the police he knew Wally was missing and he didn't realize how the hell do you, okay, I've got my shaving cream, I didn't leave my shoes. How do you MFing forget your daggone alligator? Okay, I've got Billy and Jean and the gerbils. Oh, you know, where is Wally, the alligator? The GD alligator that you travel with? But he thought he had gotten out. He did look for him and couldn't find him. Always look under the bed. Sheboygan sounds like something that the scientist guy from Simpsons would say. I know. Or something that Sheldon would say other than bazinga. Like Sheboygan. Actually, it sounds like something you should say when you stub your toe. Like, oh, Sheboygan. Actually, I might start saying that instead of cursing. Of course, people from Sheboygan have not been, asked if they would like their town name to be synonymous with the F word. And in our final yet most ironic story ever, a man wearing an I Never Argue t-shirt is busted for a violent argument with a woman. He too is realizing that this t-shirt is going to live in infamy for the rest of your life. This is the face you make when you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna be a meme for the rest of my life. And you're like that girl in the car seat that's like, eee. Alrighty, a man wearing a t-shirt declaring, I never argue, was arrested yesterday when he was arguing with a female acquaintance and it turned out to be violent. Daniel Moreo, 44, was accused of repeatedly laying hands on the 24-year-old victim in the head while they were seated in a BMW outside an Econo Lodge in Kissimmee, Florida. Now, the duo had traveled from Tampa but were left stranded when their car broke down. After a few days in the hotel, they ran out of money and began staying in their vehicle while attempting to fix it and arrange for a tow, according to police. Now, while Moreo said that he and the victim had been in a romantic relationship for several months, The woman, cops said, denied having an intimate relationship with him. Now, the inability to arrange for a AAA tow, the victim told police, was upsetting to Daniel and added tension between them, which led to a verbal argument, in which the investigators charged possessed Moreo to start battering the woman. Now, cops noted that the victim had several bumps on her head, which appeared to be swollen and recent. Now, Moreo claimed that he struck the victim several times in retaliation for her punching him in the face. He added that after the woman threw urine at him from a cup they had in the car. Alrighty then. Based on the totality of circumstances, officers arrested Moreo for misdemeanor battery. Now, he was booked at the Osceola County Jail on $1,000 bond in advance of a court appearance this afternoon. His I Never Argue shirt was replaced with a jail smock. Probably because she threw pee-pee on him. Oh, good night, nurse. Yikes, Kiwi Green. Holy God, what is wrong with people? Anywho, I hope that they were able to get their car fixed. And look, Tammy, I don't find them. They find me. I just didn't think that that was going to be a mutant talent that I had retained from, Professor X. I kind of hoped it wasn't, to be honest with you. Actually, I lied. In our final story, from Futurism, if you blazed massive amounts of ganja as a youth, scientists have interesting news. So if you were, unlike me, being a goody two-shoes, but you were out there smoking the ganja, we have some news for you. Now, I'm over here in the goody two-shoes camp, so I don't know. When most smokers light up a doobie, it's unlikely that enhanced cognitive ability is front of mind. Not shockingly, the long-held assumption from most tends to be that weed makes you dumb and probably fries your brain permanently. But intriguingly, that argument might be going up in smoke. A recent study by researchers in Copenhagen appears to have good news for all you former teenage tokers out there, finding that the age at which men start smoking has no negative bearing on cognitive decline later on in life. Adult stoners can also breathe a little easier from now on, as the research also found that those who use cannabis regularly as an adult show no greater cognitive decline in the long term than those who don't partake. The study canvassed 5,162 men born between 1949 and 1961 who were sorted into two groups based on whether they had a history of using the devil's lettuce. Now, from there, participants who smoked were sorted into age groups based on when they started toking, when they decided to turn in, tune on, and turn off. Now, one weakness of the study was its exclusion of women. To be fair, we're all hormonal. I'm just kidding. A side effect of its reliance on the Borgen-Prøve test, a military exam given to young Danish conscripts. Now, as a part of the study, the same test was given again to all the participants, who then averaged 44 years old. Maybe most surprisingly, the research found that mental decline among those who smoked was slightly less than those who didn't by a measure of 1.3 IQ points. Now, authors did note that it's difficult to compare their results among other long-term studies comparing cognitive decline between smokers and non-smokers, but that their findings do line up with other research that found no great age-based cognitive decline associated with pot. Now, these include an Australian study and two American studies, all of which did include women. It does make granola bars exceptionally yummy, though, which is why, they really should make a diet version that makes you like kale. Now, while the Danish study is far from the final say on the issue, it is yet another piece of sound research piling up against the anti cannabis studies of the years past, many of which were funded by pharmaceutical giants and right wing think tanks. Those studies have been used throughout the United States to justify the war on marijuana. That being said, both failed to reduce pot use and allowed police to exercise astonishing, powers. That being said, building on this Danish study, further research could investigate whether pot's lack of long term cognitive effects lies in underlying factors like socioeconomic class, or if it's a result of, specific weedology. That being said, it looks like we will all be fully functional when we hit the nursing homes. So there you go. Now, there will not be a Petty Express today. I do have to do some mom work, which includes running people to, various and sundry doctor's appointments and a couple of little housekeeping things. There will not be a Saturday Legal Shenanigans Theater. I might see if I can do something on Sunday, but we will be out of town to go to my mother-in-law's funeral Friday and Saturday, so no streams then. That being said, thank you guys for your support. So I will be back probably Sunday. We will do some fun stuff then. And I get to go find hotels for, us to stay at that do have a pool, because we're kind of, this is so terrible. This happened right around spring break, so we're also trying to do something fun for the boy children who obviously going to a funeral is not going to be a fun thing. So there's an indoor pool at one of the hotels. So my youngest, most feral, was like, do we get to swim before we have to do the dead people thing? And I was like, for the love of all that is holy, if you don't be quiet, you young child. I love him, but if I come back, y'all, I'm serious, if I come back with a Bonnie Raitt white streak, y'all know what happened. He used his powers for violence, and I had to, run away and join the circus. Anywho, so thank you guys for, hanging out with me every morning as we go through the crazy, the normal, the regular, and the absurd news. I will be here tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, but carry a can of bitch fire, because kindness does not equal doormat. I will see you guys all tomorrow. Bye, you guys.